Okay, welcome to the Guildies podcast,
Shalom.
episode 4. We are doing this for the second time. We had a little technical difficulties and lost
Funny OBS.
lost what is probably to date the best podcast we've recorded, but this will be the second best podcast we've ever recorded, and we'll just never have the best. We'll always be living in the shadow of the podcast we lost, and that's healthy. So let's go over a few brief things before we jump all the way into the topics again, which we'll maybe cover more briefly, but maybe we'll uncover new things about ourselves. Maybe there's things we didn't realize that are important to us. So first, Bear has an alter ego whose name is Jibby, and he is my secretary.
This again.
And Jibby's current set of assignments is we're gonna get the name of this podcast. This episode is gonna be "Please Come on Our Podcast," Matt Dabrowski. So
straight to the point. Okay,
yeah, straight to the point. Matt Dabrowski, if you're listening to this, I know me and you are homies. Me and you go way back. We were at South Guildies University together.
South Guildies University. Holy
yeah,
fuck,
which of course Bear here is that's one of his accolades. He's a graduate of South Guildies University Incorporated.
Damn right.
Come on our podcast. That's it. Just do it. Just do it. Jibby will be reaching out to you vaguely soon. So there's that. What else do we cover? Okay, so I opened up last time with which is more cringy, Harry Potter or Marvel. And I think we'll dial back on that a little bit today. We already found out that Marvel is more cringy, pretty much. Just it is. There's not hot women that are into Marvel. Like there are, but it's such a smaller number.
Really, I imagine like that both of those fandoms are kind of like.
Go on. Yeah,
Harry Potter would probably have a few more lay bits.
You just gotta think. You gotta think like the gender ratio of like Harry Potter to Marvel is like just a complete flip flop of like a 9-to-1 male to female on Marvel and like a 9-to-1 female to male on Harry Potter. So just if we're just painting by numbers. Harry Potter wins in terms of smoking babe department. Okay, so let's double back onto we covered 3 things in the podcast yesterday, the greatest podcast we ever recorded. We covered Streets of Rogue, which we'll get into here in a second. And it'll probably go a little smoother because we've talked about it, maybe thought about it a little more. We talked about Escape from Tarkov. And what did we talk about? What did we talk about in between?
It was the Harry Potter and Marvel discussion.
Oh, we just went back to that.
Well, that was the first one. That was the first thing we talked about.
Okay, well, let's jump right into Streets of Rogue. I'm just gonna we'll start from the back and work forward. I gave the game a 4.5 out of 5. I think Streets of Rogue is easily one of, if not the best roguelite I have ever played, and it's got a lot to do with it has a really big, breathing, interactive world that's happening, regardless of whether you're doing anything. And it's not open world. I'm making it sound like it's like this grand, like Zelda adventure. It's not. It's instanced levels, but
it's randomly generated.
It's randomly generated, and there's all these random interactions, and it's wonderful. And I proposed. I said, okay, let's not talk about our rating of the game. Let's talk about our consumer rating for the game. Okay?
Consumer rating.
That gets a 10 out of 10, baby. You're getting all your money back and more on it. Buy the game. True. You will love it. You will love it
especially now. The game's on sale now, and the Steam sale ends soon, so you should go buy it.
Dude, this is fucked up. We covered this yesterday. I bought that game. Here's why Matt Dabrowski will be coming on the podcast. Okay? I bought Matt Dabrowski's game 3 times. Now, I don't know how much Steam takes in a cut, but it cannot be that much. I literally gave that man almost $100. Okay?
It's true.
Matthew P. Cornelius Dabrowski, please come on my podcast.
Matt, what the fuck?
Listen, what? How else are we gonna get Matt on here? What do you?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. We need some guests on here. I was thinking about that. Who would we get? Who do you think we should get?
Caribou.
No, no, that's not a guest. That's like that's like babysitting my cousins.
I mean, we could get like Woofies, or Woofies would be like a good talk for a WoW video.
Yeah, if you could understand him.
That, god damn it,
it's hard. And
Canadians are ruining everything.
And don't get me wrong, Woofies is a very, very good friend of mine. He's a French Canadian we have, and a French Canadian friend. We don't own him. Okay, we don't have French Canadian slaves. Whatever I was gonna say there, I'm not gonna say there. But he's extremely difficult to understand because he's from Norway originally. And then went to Canada, and so he's got all these accents, just
Norwegian Canadian
stomped into each other. Yeah, it's hard. It's very difficult to understand what he's saying.
I would be sad if I lived that life.
Why? Norway's freaking based, homie. There's so much.
It's also got a population of like 3 people and an animal, so it's like.
Okay, you're floating on a rock in the middle of nowhere, buddy. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but we're Australia.
Yeah,
so
all right. Yeah, all right. You got me there. Okay, but okay. What's the? Fuck you. What's the ratio of people to kangaroos in Australia?
Well, kangaroos outnumber the people. But...
Yeah, isn't it like 3 to 1 or something? like a staggering.
It's like a good sizable amount, enough that I think this is a while ago. I'm pretty sure the government endorses you buying kangaroo meat instead of the regular meat because there's so much abundance of them.
Well, okay, so you get your Centrelink, and then you also get like government mandated kangaroo corpses.
You get a kangaroo like tail sent in the mail.
Yeah, your Centrelink comes in, and then like a kangaroo body comes through your front window.
Jesus Christ!
You know what? I've thought about for a long time that I'd like to do. I had aspirations at one point of, so we've talked about this, and maybe everyone on the who listens to this podcast, all 7 of you, I write a lot. I've been writing some stories for a long time, and I've got a really good one, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about it because it's good. But I've always wanted to write like for like a video game or something, or like do like world building for a video game or something, or obviously I'm not much of a like graphic artist, anything. I do a lot of music, but I don't I can't draw. I don't know how to 3D model or anything. But I can write, and I can write music, and I can write stuff. And but I've always wanted to write something and do world building, almost more for, I would love to put together like a soundtrack. I think that'd be really fun. And I'm going to plug something right here. This is our first plug. My good friend Sean Halloran. Have I showed you any of his music before?
No.
He has some amazing, there's this really cool song called Red Planet, and it makes me want to work on
It's on Spotify?
video game. It's on SoundCloud. Sean Halloran.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ.
SoundCloud. I'll link it to you after. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe we'll use that for our intro thing. Oh, baby!
We're not paying that man royalties.
Yeah, hey, Sean, if you're listening, fuck you, retard. Guess what? I'm using your demo. Oh no, he stole my
What you gonna do? Oh.
Well, yeah, what are you gonna do? You gonna drink at me? Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, both Sean.
Yeah. Here, I'll send you a pack of Bofo over there, buddy. I'll come. Listen, I'll come over Thursday night when I get out of work, and I'll set Bofa down. I'll set down my extra large Magnum double sized pack of Bofa D's right down on your coffee table, buddy. Don't worry.
Jesus Christ.
They're hot. Okay, so anyways, I've always wanted to do that, and I had put together some stuff But I was really inspired by listening to Sean's stuff recently, and I obviously will probably not actually make a video game because it's a lot of work.
Dumb.
Well, yeah, like I would love to write for it. I think that would be extremely fulfilling and good. But like being like,
I imagine like writing and like concept design and all that is like a pretty fun part of the game world, but like the actual development and everything seems like fucking hell. Like
I'm not very good at math, which makes me assume I wouldn't be very good at computer generated math art. So,
I'm not good at math either.
Oh, aren't you?
Yeah. Who would have guessed?
No, it's not. It's not that you're not good at math. You're just. At least you graduated high school on time. No, it's...
That is true.
Anyways, so let me tell you a little bit about this book I'm writing. Okay, I've told Bear a little bit about it, and I've actually probably told Sean a little bit about it. But it's this fun concept where Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers, was obsessed with the American mastodon, aka the American mammoth, or the Jefferson mammoth.
Jefferson.
And what I want to do, and then I'll go a little farther. That Thomas Jefferson defended to his death that he believed out west, which had not been explored at the time, which is like after like late 1700s, that they still existed out west. And he went to his grave, very passionate and expending quite a bit of time and effort into proving that they still existed. So I said, oh my God, what an amazing premise for a book. What if Thomas Jefferson took an exploratory party out west to find these great behemoths, right? But the story starts off like super normal. I'm just giving you guys like the screenplay read through right here. And it starts off like, ooh, colonial, I don't know, we live in Virginia or something. And, you know. And so it's doing that, and it starts with this like, you guys ever see The Patriot? It's like the beginning of The Patriot, and it's like all this colonial, it's all nice and blah blah blah, and they set up the expedition, and it's like all triumphant, and there's all these great yeah right, everyone's excited, there's a lot of energy, and then they go out, and it's like the journey's normal, they shoot a moose or something, and they're going and then they pretty much
shoot a native, yeah, let's go.
They get to like the other side of the Mississippi, right? Which if you're not from Burgerland, that's quite a ways. That's like 500 or 600 miles, probably.
Mississippi River.
Yeah. And then they get to the Great Plains. It becomes like insanely dark, and they're like hunted by like these scary like skinwalker, like Wadingo things, and it's like it becomes a horror. Yeah, Tazdingo things. And they're hunted by this, and it becomes like a horror movie, but it was like extremely misleading from the get-go. And it just becomes like everyone just gets murdered. And then I'm not really sure about the ending yet, where it's like, does Thomas Jefferson go back and he's like possessed or something, and then it's like a historical fiction, or does everyone just die and it's like really bleak?
What about the woolly mammoths though?
There was never any woolly mammoths. That's the rub of the whole thing, that like they went out there looking for these great like peaceful beasts, and they just get murdered by monsters.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. But I've been writing this for, it's been like 7 months now, and it's
wow.
It's like
how far you into it?
It's like halfway done. The hardest part is I don't know where it's gonna end. But it's amazing because you can use it, with historical fiction, you can just fuck everything. Like, who gives a shit? Like, there's no rules. I could kill Thomas Jefferson right now. But yeah. So I don't. I'm like halfway through. I don't know. I don't know how I want it to end. I'm not sure. I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, Sean Halloran, my good friend Sean Halloran makes some like 8-bit kind of ambient kind of music.
Should we be saying his full name?
But how else are you gonna find it? Sean's a good boy. Okay, don't put that evil on him.
I mean, I believe that.
He's met Sean. He'll be fine. He's my buddy Sean. So, geez, what we? I was talking about the book. And then we talked about Tarkov for a little bit, going back to the greatest podcast of all time.
True. Yeah.
Let's truncate this into Twitch drops are back again. Ready to ruin everything great about the game. Man, we really, really went on for a long, long time yesterday. But
if I could get like a short breakdown of like a general gist.
You would like me to give you a short breakdown of what we talked about and how? Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just like I just say we should just give it.
Yes. Okay, so I'll give you a quick one.
You drink that.
I'm having some water. Okay, I just spent literally all day talking to people. I was gonna say poor people, but not poor people. We talked about how when Twitch drops happened, that Tarkov became beholden to like 20 billion times as many people, and that it has really negatively impacted the game and the development of the game. We talked a little bit about that and about how like when you get more people involved, whatever original vision you had for it is now
skewed.
It's skewed by a bunch of really, really shitty Twitch streamers who play COD all day. Or like Apex or something, or pick some fucking shitty FPS.
It's skewed by people that aren't what the target demographic of the game is.
Yeah,
I feel.
And we basically came to the conclusion in a bunch of different ways, that the game has just been fundamentally like pushed into a place where, I don't think it's doing what it originally intended to do, and because of that, I think it will suffer. We ended on Tarkov is replaceable. It is the only game I can think of that's like that right now, but now the fucking cat's out of the bag. Someone somewhere is working on a Tarkov killer right now. Boom! I'm all fired up again like I was yesterday, motherfucker. Okay, listen. There is someone out there, someone very smart, and probably a quarter of the dev team that Battlestate has. They are making a Tarkov killer right fucking now. And if Tarkov doesn't get its fucking dick out of its shit box, okay? You hear me? Get your fucking dick out of your shitter.
Shit dicked out. Right now.
That game will come out and it will destroy Tarkov. Because we talked about PUBG. That was the other thing. How, like, when PUBG was happening, I could have never imagined PUBG was going to be like PUBG's like Roblox tier now. Like when I hear someone say they play like I would feel better if one of my students came in and they're like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Hayden, I'm playing." Oh my God, do you remember when me, you, and Cole played the Roblox survival one, the like natural disasters one?
Oh my God,
that was amazingly fun, dude. That was more fun than I've ever had in PUBG.
Roblox. Do you remember when we played Battlefield on Roblox?
Yeah, dude. But I'd be less upset if my student came in than if my student's like, "Oh yeah, I got a chicken dinner." Like,
winner, chicken dinner, frying pan. Am I right?
Yeah,
Mr. Hayden.
Yeah, I'd be. That's happened one time, and I feel like I probably bullied my student pretty bad about it. They were young. Anyways, yeah, so we talked a little bit about Tarkov doing that. There are some other things I kind of wanted to touch on that we didn't, and it's just an experience that I had and had consistent with Tarkov that I think is worth retelling here, especially since
go ahead.
The greatest podcast that was ever created and recorded is now lost to the ether. So, I remember vividly there was like 2 weeks where I forget what quest I was doing, but I had to use like whatever the SMG rounds are. Is it 9x19 is what's usually in the SMGs?
Yeah, 9x19.
Yeah. I had a bunch of instances where I would like mag dump on someone who had like tier 6 armor or something. Like head armor, and be like aiming at their head, and like they did not die. And like I know we're not I'm not a soldier, and I don't make like ballistics grade armor, but I should not be able to take a 20 round magazine, point 15 of them at your skull. Whatever you have on that is not like 3 inches of steel, which you're not wearing on your head, I promise, should break. That part of the realism to me is like, I don't understand.
I don't want to like, obviously, again, there are some moments of that where it just feels like it's unfair and stupid, but it is like it's a balance of gameplay and realism. Like, it's expecting to like, because if as you said, it is to be fair, it is kind of stupid sometimes where you unload like a full 20 round mag of 9mm, and the guy's armor, sure, is hurt, but he should be feeling something more than just being like, oh no, I have 20 less durability on my armor. But again, it's like, it's a balance of realism and gameplay, which I think also leads to like the whole discussion of, you know, they want to make a game, but you have to sacrifice realism and
right for playability. And I totally agree with that in certain parts, but that's one that I feel like would be like, yeah, dude, like your Kevlar vest should stop some bullets, but Kevlar vest, you don't reuse a Kevlar plate. Like, you don't, like, police aren't like getting a shootout, get shot in the chest, stop the bullet. Which, by the way, when you get hit in the chest wearing a bulletproof vest, it doesn't just like bounce off. Like, you get bruised on your skin, like on your chest and shit.
Yeah, you get like really bad bruising.
Super fucked up, and it can typically only take like one shot. Dude, there's this amazing art. You like Archer, don't you?
Archer, I watched some of the earlier seasons, but I've never really got into the
Archer is
other
my
ones.
favorite series ever of anything ever. Archer is my fucking favorite. But there's this really good episode where Pam gets shot in the chest once, and you know, and everyone's like, she's like, I'm okay, and then she does it again, but she's got Kevlar on, and she gets up, and they're like, oh wow, Pam, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, why? And they're like, you got shot. And she's like, I got a bulletproof vest on. And they take it off, and she's like bleeding, and she's like, oh, good, I thought I was being a pussy. But yeah, dude, like that's one for me where it's like I'm comfortable with tier 6 being like, hey, you just fired like a big old 7.62 fucking round right into my fucking aorta in my heart, and this bulletproof vest stopped it. That's fine. The fact that you can mag dump like pretty serious firepower into people, and the armor is like, you know, balancing realism and gameplay, like that to me bothers me, because it takes what I want in realism out of the game.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just.
But don't worry now, Hayden. Because if you hate the armor now, you just shoot them in any other part of their body, and they'll get like 4 deadly bleeds, and they'll die within a minute. Anyway,
that's interesting. I'm actually really interested in how that is gonna work out, or how the community's taking it. I assume the community.
Is, I think they're surprisingly okay with it.
Are they?
It's kind of a bitch because it's another thing to deal with, but it kind of balanced, like, because the game obviously has been pushed in a direction lately that you can't rat as much. Like, ratting, although it's like still viable, it's not as powerful as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But when Mr. Hyped up on like melatonin, Mr. Streamer Man 221 comes around the corner, sprinting at like Mach 10 speed with a AR the size of like a tank barrel, and he like twists on you, and he misses a few shots, and you duck behind cover, but you manage to shoot him in the leg with your like little shitty Makarov pistol that's covered in rust. And he now has you hit like an artery, so he's bleeding out.
He has a tetanus infection now.
Yeah, and like, let's say you're lucky enough that you don't like. Oh, let's say he pops a propofol or something, and he jumps back out, and you pop him in the other leg, and then the arm, and the other arm, and now this guy who's like roided out of his mind on energy drink, he's now screaming on stream, and just dropping all kinds of slurs and screaming that this game's bad, because this little rat killed him in a couple of seconds because he's bled out on the floor. So it's a nice change, I think. But again, it's Tarkov.
I'll be excited to see where it goes. Honestly, I think Tarkov should embrace, something me and you talked about yesterday on the greatest podcast that's ever been recorded that has been lost to the ether. WoW is a bad game. Okay? The ultimate defense against someone talking mad smack about my dog WoW is it's a bad game. And you're like, well, hey, don't you love the game? Yeah, it's the best. It's my favorite game. But
it's shit.
It's a bad game. And like, you can't listen. Listen, he might be, my buddy WoW might have some developmental issues, some cognitive disabilities, but he's the best looking autist out there. You can't tell me he isn't. And he's also the most fun autist out there. You also cannot tell me he isn't. Okay? It's a bad game, but I love it. And I feel like Tarkov is like jumped straight to, yeah, it's just a bad game. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the people who defend this game on a knockdown, drag out, Reddit style fucking comment war, okay? Big old thread. It boils down to this game is either made in a way that it will never be fully optimized and fully balanced and the systems will work correctly. You either get them to admit that or the fact that the game is bad. Those are the two things. Because Tarkov exists in this plane of like the level of like realism to gameplay is never going to equal out. And I think that's like I think that's what they're aiming for. And I think that's the issue is like they keep like they hear feedback and they're like, oh, let's make this, let's give everyone, okay, now you slipped in the mud and now you have rabies. Not a lot of cases within the Western world, but you're kind of on the brink there in Russia. So now you have rabies, an incurable disease, and you're going to die in about 2 weeks. So even if you make it out of this raid, your PMC will permanently die. Like, okay, well, that's too far. But then the other feedback is like, well, I've been thinking a lot of, Shroud and XQC and a bunch of these shitters are on stream and they're talking about it and they write this letter to Battle State Games. They write a physical letter and they're like, well, we've been thinking about it, blah, blah. And it's like 18 pages of shit. And at the end, they're like, I want to dual wield AK-47s. Okay. And Tarkov's like, we'll consider it. And so the next update, you can dual wield, you can triple wield, you can get a mutated arm, you can triple wield assault rifles, but you have to expend 1,200 hours in one patch to grind up to that because it's an MMO. So
that it sucked how right you are sometimes, but it's 'cause how it honestly feels sometimes. It's like Tarkov comes out. This is what the cycle of me feels like. It's Tarkov's like, hey, we're gonna do this to make the realism more realism, and it will affect the gameplay, but it's realism. Okay, everyone's like, is iffy, and everyone's like, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Patch rolls out. Everyone's playing it. There's no real opinion yet. Streamer comes out with opinion saying, as much as he likes the new additions, he preferred the old ways. Yeah. Everyone starts getting angry at Battlestate's game, saying the streamer was right, and the Battlestate doesn't know how to make their own game. Battlestate comes out, it's like saying, okay, yeah, sure, we'll look into this and we'll fix it. Next patch comes along, they reverted the change, but now it's even harder to get to that. Streamers now do it, and they're like, that's fine.
Yep.
And then everyone else like, now this is taking too long to get. We like the old way. Battlestate reverts it, and the cycle begins again. That's honestly how it feels sometimes with Tarkov.
Well, and
they try to appeal so much to people, but I don't know, game development, they just need to fucking grow a backbone and stick to their ideals of the game.
Well, and that's part of the issue where it's like the worst thing for Tarkov is feedback. Tarkov would be fantastic if they were like, okay, and here's the great thing about Tarkov. There are no labor laws in Russia. So listen, all 81 of you idiots, you are locked inside this building until you get a game that is an 8 out of 10 condition. You have 10 months before the sarin gas in the basement bombs go off and start going towards the roof and the gas starts rising. You have 10 months. Get it done. Okay, that game would come out the most insanely fun, crisp, exhilarating, rewarding game that's ever happened. But instead, oh no, Russia's got to get on in global economics. They got to get their fucking dick in everything. So now they've partnered with the Twitch CCP.ini. So now Battlestate Games is just like, okay, well, we could make a good game, or we could print literal fucking money. But imagine I said that in Nikita's voice, and it's just like
the print money.
It's a shareholders meeting and a big round table, and they've all got those stupid fur hats on and like fur coats. Yeah. And he's like, okay, we could make a great game, or we could print fucking money. Okay? And they're all like looking at each other, and some of them are like taking huge rips from their fucking vodka bottle.
Others are polishing it.
Yeah, and then
the Murrays and the Gaunt's just like polishing the barrel.
They're sitting there. The one guy just killed one of the other guys, and they're like, we print money! And so we're on our third round of fucking Twitch drops, and they still have ping lock. What are you talking about? Why do you need to bring more attention to this game when you have not figured out some of the core issues? Because here's my other thing. Tell me how many cheaters you've seen in WoW. And I'm not talking about like whatever exploits or multi-boxing. I mean, how many times have you lost something significant in WoW because someone is cheating?
I don't think I've ever come across like no. There's like that one guy that we came across at one point who was like he was a mythic.
That demon hunter. Yeah, we were doing under.
Yeah, but that's like
yeah.
That's like the only time I think in like the history of my WoW gaming experience where I've ever come across a cheater that hasn't. It's not a multiplex as you said, but has like obviously done something to influence their own ability in game.
I have played WoW since Cataclysm. Basically, we can just put it right in Cataclysm, like 2008, I think is what it is. Yeah,
Cata kitty cat.
Yeah, Cata kitty cat, I'ma kill my kitty cat. I have never. I have seen maybe one time that I have encountered someone who was clearly buffing their own abilities, but that was like pre-patch for MOP. And so I don't know if it was like an exploit or what it was, but it was basically it was a death knight, but his death grip killed people. And I don't really understand it, but it would like grab them and then pull, and then they would do like the dying animation and then like come. Yeah, and I don't know what that, I think about, you sometimes see people like, they're like, oh, I think I saw an alien ship, and now I'll think about that for the rest of my life. But for me, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw a Death Knight go on a like fucking hacker killing spree, and it haunts my dreams. I can't stop thinking about it. But Tarkov is still at a point where hackers are prevalent enough because you can go onto YouTube right now and just look up Tarkov hacks. It's that easy to both get and also witness it happen, because obviously, yeah, you get sniped out of the middle of nowhere, maybe you call hacks, but the issue with it being so easy and also dominated by the Chinese, who may or may not have a hand in these hacks, it makes it so you like poison the well of like, did I die fairly? And I feel like if Tarkov also doesn't take a strong stance on that the game will suffer. Like because the game has no kill feeds or no anything, how will you know if you just got like dinged by some fucking shit pants way up on a hill, or if like someone like teleported to you, killed you, and teleported away? Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's that's always been like a problem for me personally in Tarkov, and I don't expect them to put it in a kill cam. I think they've slowly made some effort to. Like, they tell you who killed you, obviously, but then they also tell you what gun, like what weapon they use, what part they hit you in, so it's a bit more easy to identify.
Yep.
But it's because the time to kill is so quick and so easy, and you don't even have to see the bullet coming. you run into this problem of you're never sure if it was a legit kill, and it rarely affects your want to keep playing.
Yeah,
You know, like
absolutely.
I don't want to keep playing a game where I was running and I get into a fight with the guy, I die. It's like whatever, that's fine. Do it again. Guy shot me from behind somewhere. It felt like a normal kill. It's like whatever, but then that little small bit of doubt slowly grows to the point where you just die in a gunfight that's like fairly normal, and you blame the cheaters and you just don't play the game.
Well, and I think it's not unreasonable to assume that, in us playing, especially at the time we were playing at before they had the huge influx, that we were probably killed by some people who were like in some way cheating. Whether it was like I've seen some of the weird no clipping ones where people like do weird head glitches where only like the gun's sticking out or something, or like
Or then they're fucking flying.
or the flying ones, right? Where so they can like position themselves like on sniper towers where only like scavs can be and stuff.
And they're flying around the map. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
I'm positive because I wouldn't know because I'm playing Tarkov. I'm not whipping around like I'm playing COD, so I wouldn't be able to see way up ahead of or like above me or like, it'd be easy for someone to do that. And that it's just another thing where like same thing with WoW. It's like, oh yeah, that guy had like a 233 eye level. Like, okay, well I guess I just die instantly. Like they didn't cheat. It might suck, but like I know they didn't cheat and I can verify that.
True.
Man,
True AF.
you get me all worked up about Tarkov again.
It do that. It do be like that sometime, I guess.
Well, and it sucks because I want Tarkov to be like
I do too.
such an insane, good, robust. Just I want it to be this amazing feeling
It's
game.
it sucks. Yeah, it just sucks. There's so much like hard to get over negatives because there's so much like just goofy fun that can be had.
Sure.
Like I remember one time I was playing with friends. I don't think it was you guys. It was probably like Australian friends that I played Tarkov with for a bit. But we were doing some raids and we're getting our shit like pumped aggressively, like not some like passive pumping, like some just hard pumps, and
Okay.
and everyone was, and we were kind of feeling down to the point where we don't really want to play anymore, and we're like, we'll do one more raid just to end the night, and I had the bright idea of like I want to keep playing, but obviously these guys don't want to, so I'll try and cheer them up, and what I did was I came into the raid with a pilgrim, which is like one of the bigger backpacks in the game you can get. And I brought in a big rig. I brought in like my guns and all that. But in the backpack, in the majority of the rig, I bring packs of milk. And as we got in and we're like, everyone's set, yeah. I just started like dumping all the milk on the ground, and we sat there for like 2 minutes just drinking milk and chilling. And it was funny. It was fun. And it's like there's just so much goofy shit you can do. It just sucks that the game has so many flaws.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is like the concept is there, the groundwork is even there. The engine is not that bad. Like it runs well, it looks good, it's pretty dynamic and interactive. It's just the balancing on it is going to be the death of the game. 110%. Cuz it's not like WoW, where like, oh no, oh geez, Hunter got nerfed, guess I'm going to play my rogue or my you don't. It's like, oh geez, this low mid-tier weapon got nerfed super hard, so now I guess I'm. It's like if they like totally dumped the Vector or the Vepr Hunter. Like, what an amazing gun to like level the playing field that like streamers hate. And it's like, oh yeah, the Hunter. The.
Oh yeah. Oh god, dude, that thing got buffed as well. You can put like silencers and shit on it now. Like...
Yo, that's amazing. But that's my thing is like, they'll come around and do a fucking like nerf like that, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just fucking go suck my own dick, I guess. What?
Yeah,
I'm so mad. You got me so damn upset about.
Hey man, what the hell?
That's okay. Man, we've been crazy at work these past 2 days. Like people just come in and they're like, "What can I get?" This guy seriously came in on Monday and was like, can I get $30 in pennies? I was like, haha. He's like, yeah, I lost a bet. And I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, so you are asking for $30 in pennies? He's like, I mean, yeah, if you got them.
If you got
And
them.
I'm like,
But
okay.
did you have? Did you?
Yeah,
did
so
you
I
got
fucking
them?
spent the next half hour getting together all these fucking pennies, and my manager's like, are you sure? We like went to balance at the end of the night, and they're like, oh, did you mean to put this in as quarters? I'm like, no, that was $30 in pennies that I bought. I just don't. It's so stupid. And it was, dude. It was like this, like really. The guy was like, yeah, me and this girl had this like bet that each other's relationships wouldn't last, and I'm like, here we go. I'm like, dude,
Bro, what the fuck?
you're like 30. Why are we doing this? You're not an 18, you're not a 16-year-old doing this weird mating dance with this girl to like play the long game of, you know, dating her down the line or something. Like, you're 30. You're 30. And he's like, yeah, and her and her boyfriend broke up, so she had to give me $30 in pennies, and I'm like, wait, but you won the bet. He's like, I know. I'm like, okay, I don't understand what that means. And then he's like, yeah, but me and my girlfriend just broke up, so I have to give her $30 in pennies. I'm like, shouldn't this be the other? I'm like, I don't
Your
know.
bank, dude. Every bank you like transfer to, it just seems like you can't catch a break.
Dude, here's my thing. And I am just genuinely convinced that 98% of the people you meet, this is part of the reason, and we're not gonna dive into politics here, but it's part of the reason I've just totally lost faith in democracy. Like, most people are not smart enough to balance their checkbook or like parse out, like, how do I win this bet? Oh, she gives me $30 in pennies. Why would you want $30 in pennies? I'm just at a point right now where like I'm like, everyone I meet, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Am I hearing you talk right now? Are we talking to each other? Like, are you just being? I can't. But anyway, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that like most people are stupid, and the fact is, most people just don't meet enough people in a day to know that most people are stupid. But I have met most people in a day. I think I dealt with 200 some different people today. Okay. Believe me, at least half of them was like an interaction where I'm like,
sigh.
Yeah, like, okay. You know, I had one come in, had these bonds. She's like, how much are these worth? And I'm like, I have to check. Well, I don't have time for that. How much are they worth? And I'm like, are we doing this right now? I'm like, I have to
this kind of beta bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, there's like 8 of them here, and they're all different series bonds. And if you guys don't know what savings bonds are, it doesn't matter because the U.S. government's gonna be broke in 10 years anyway. So, just kidding. Please don't kill me, NSA. I guess FBI. I'm on your side, but come on, listen. I love the FBI. Okay, I loved X-Files.
Shut up.
I did love X-Files. X-Files is amazing. You ever watch X-Files?
I watched a few episodes.
Oh my God, it's man. Why you tell me to shut? You shut up. Yeah, where's your Australian FBI? They're like, yep, this ruse counterfeiting money, and he's sitting there like stomping the ground. And they've got like their Crocodile Dundee hats on. They've got like gator teeth around the brim on it. And
don't you diss the Australian?
Yeah. What is your guys' domestic?
I think it's the. I know the name. It's like it's escaping my mind right now.
You're gonna.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
Google real quick.
Jibby's gonna check this one. Yeah, you bring that up for me,
It's
Jibby.
it's the AFP. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
You said Jibby was fine yesterday. Me and you
I
talked
know,
about
but
this.
it's just stupid. It's just
No,
stupid.
okay, but here's the thing. Everyone who's not listening because you didn't hear the greatest podcast of all time that was recorded, that was lost to the ether. I originally was calling him Perry, which I thought was kind of demeaning. Perry feels worse than Jibby. I think Jibby's good. I think Jibby's really yeah, maybe Jibby is my secretary, but also when I get a second cat, maybe we'll name second cat Jibby. I don't know.
Ooh, now that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Okay, well, listen, Jibby, you get Matt Dabrowski on here, and we can start talking about it.
Fucking.
Anyways, what's it called? What's your?
I believe it's the AFP, the Australian Federal Police.
Oh, okay, that's an easy one. That one is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours is cool. Federal Bureau. What's a bureau? Bureau of Investigation. Cool guy. Cool buddy inspector. Anyways, yeah, it's like a bond. Like a bond is you buy a bond and then it is guaranteed interest over a certain amount of time. It's like when people would buy war bonds. You ever hear about that?
I've seen that I've never really
Like in movies and media and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, it is a note that you buy that appreciates interest and over appreciates value in a certain period of time. And when that time period is up, there's a point where it's worth turning them in. And there's like different series of bonds. There's like Series EE, Series I, Series 2, 3. So basically what happened is she was like, okay, how much is Australian currency and Chinese currency and Russian currency all worth right now? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to consult. Some shit. I don't have time. And I'm like, okay, well, then we can't do this right now. She's like, okay, but what is it worth? And I'm like, oh, God damn it, I don't know.
Yeah, it just tell me the worst of all these three currency comparisons right now.
Yeah, right now.
Do
right
it, monkey.
now. Right now.
Do it,
monkey. Yeah.
now.
Listen, I can smell you from here. Just do it. Do it, you fucking idiot. Yeah, I'm just convinced that like most people you could interact with on a daily basis basically just are not. They're all Redditors is kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I feel like you could just assume everyone you meet has a Reddit account and that's just like a rule of thumb. And then you get to be pleasantly surprised when someone's like, I don't use Reddit. I don't use Reddit. Dude, okay, so I'm going to give you guys another story. This is just me telling stories, okay? That's
Story time.
Unless Jibby has some stories. You have a story for me?
Took a fat shit today. That was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, story time with Jibby. We were doing a guild mythic the other day. It was Plaguefall Mythic 2, and they just needed another DPS, and it was me and one of the guys who I do twos with, and we got in there because we had pretty much maxed out Conquest, and he's like a kind of a low level rogue, so we were just playing for Conquest. And we were in there, and dude, we had 45 deaths by the time we were done. In a timed mythic, okay, so we didn't hit the timer, and it also took us like double-digit number of tries on several bosses. Our what happened was our tank was a paladin, which is fine because prop paladin is amazing, but he was a retribution paladin that was carried. Either he's a fine retribution paladin and he just like was trying to tank, or was carried all the way there. In any case, it was one of the worst mythic experiences I've probably ever had. And the worst part was everyone was a guildie. So, guildie. Yeah, there it is. But everyone was a guildie. So I couldn't just be like,
suck shit.
Yeah, fuck you. It was like, I have to talk to this guy. I have to do a random battleground with this guy in like 3 days. Like, okay. So we stuck it out, dude. And we got towards the end. He wasn't in the Discord call. It was me, the three other guildies. And then this guy was like, I don't feel like it. I'm the tank, but I don't feel like it. And so we're sitting there, and me and one of the guys, clearly older, like maybe a little older than me. And the rogue that I play with is like 19. And the older guy is like, wow, He's like, what do you think, Pudding House? Do you think this guy's a fucking Redditor? And I was like, yeah, smells like fucking filthy ass Redditor. And the guy I do twos with, he's like, oh, I use Reddit.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, oh, it's okay, buddy. And I was like, yeah, you on R funny right now? Are you on r/aw?
Aww.
Yeah, and
r/meme.
yeah, r/dank memes. r/rare pp. Yeah, remember when rare Pepes were a thing?
We should bring him back.
No, probably not. Nah, probably.
Why not?
I don't know. What? Listen, I feel like we've transcended the Pepe is like kind of out of. Well, I mean, it's a classic, but I feel like it's like. I feel like culturally, it's sort of moving on. Like I feel like it's not as important as it was. I feel like Wojak is way more important right now than.
I think you're wrong.
Than PP. I don't know, but I just feel like I don't see it. What'd you say?
Wojak sucks. So
I mean, some Wojaks are pretty good, but I feel like I just don't see like. Besides like the Griper Pepe, like I don't see. I just don't see Pepes anymore. I feel like I used to see them constantly, and now I no longer see the racist green frog anymore.
You know what we should really bring back though?
Oh boy,
Spurdo.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, listen. Can we get that illustrator on? That guy cannot be doing anything. The guy who did Spurdo or the guy who did like Wojak or Pepe, he's like older, right? He's like a 40 or 50-year-old. Oh my God, we should do that. We should get him on. All right, Chippy. Let's talk about it. Okay, so we got Matt Dabrowski coming on.
We got Matt Dabrowski.
I'd like to have on the guy that me and Cole bullied in the Satisfactory dev team.
Is he the gay guy that did the dev vlogs?
He's not. I think his name is Jace. I don't think he's gay though.
I don't like him. I don't want him on here.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, we'll have. Okay. We'll have not him.
Have him on here.
What'd you say? Me? Oh, you want me and Colt? Yeah, dude.
You can Colgan get on and have a little fucking funny discussion.
We I feel like I should explain that because it didn't get explained in the greatest podcast episode that was ever recorded that is now lost to the ether. But I feel like I should say it now. When Satisfactory came out, like officially came out, it was extremely broken. It was an extremely broken state. The multiplayer did not work at all. Would not work. And basically it was a release that was so bad, like their Discord was just fucking blowing up. Was just like an insanely huge fucking mess. And people were like, this is unacceptable. I want blah, blah, I want this, I want that. And they're like dev team like, we're going to take the weekend off after a major release, which if you're a dev, okay, and I hate to be this guy. I hate to be the gamer. But if you're going to release a game whose sole identity is on multiplayer facets, and then you're like, I will not service this game for 3 days. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why, dude, imagine if like Blizzard's like, new WoW release, servers go down, they're like, well, I'm up north of my cabin, so I can't work. Oh, I'm sleeping at home in my bed. Like, no, god damn it. Are you fucking, and that was one of the things, one of the points we made was like, Satisfactory seriously netted like $6 million in that initial release. Okay, dude, just do your job. I don't care. Dude, you remember that General Sam video where he bullied the DayZ devs so hard that they're like, come on, dude, coding is hard. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. I've seen that one.
And Sam's like, dude, it's your fucking job. Dude, that'd be like me like giving someone money or like getting someone a loan and then fucking it up and then being like, well, I mean, putting together a loan is hard. Like, they're like, why is my Ford Taurus, my $10,000 Ford Taurus, why is my monthly payment $3,000 a month? And I'm like, well, putting together a loan's kind of hard. I don't know. Yeah, but then they do that. The due date comes for the payment. And then I'm gone for like the next 2 weeks. Like they cannot reach me for 2 weeks. And it rolls over into collections, and then there's a $3,000 charge on their credit history. And I'm like, well, I mean, putting the loan together is really hard. So I mean, maybe we can get it fixed like in the next year or two. And they're like, when? And I'm like, well, the next year or two. And they're like, that's unacceptable. I can't do that. It's $3,000. What the hell? There's another one coming. I don't know. Okay. It's hard to put together alone. Like, dude, if I pulled that shit, I would literally go to jail. I would literally go the fuck to jail.
The days these devs should go to jail.
Yeah, they should go to jail. But anyways, yeah, we bullied the shit out of the Satisfactory dev, and he basically we like spammed the channel so much and got people so riled up that he's like, okay, we fucked up. This was a horrible launch, and we did whatever. You know, we're not able to fix it, and we weren't prepared. Is that what you want to hear? And me and Cole were like, LOL, yes, and then stop bullying him.
LOL, yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. I just want you listen. If you're gonna release a shitty game, just like admit that it's not working.
Acknowledge it was a shit release and you weren't prepared.
Okay, so we're not gonna get him on, but we're gonna get Matt Dabrowski on. Which, Matt, if you listen to this, buddy, listen. I think you're a swell guy, and I like your video game. Maybe we talk about.
Maybe we do a bit of bothering.
Yeah, maybe we talk a little bit about our time spent at Bofa. We took a trip. We took a trip down, the botanical Sugma Gardens.
Sugma Garden, dude.
I have great memories with you, Matt. Okay, listen, we graduated the same year at fucking South Sugandees. Okay, that means something. We're brothers.
Brothers in arms.
And we're brothers in arms. Exactly. I tried to get. I messaged Tony and I was like, "Hey, Tony, you want to come on and talk about your art and stuff, and we could talk about some really fun stuff. It'd be cool." No response. Okay, Tony, I fucking get it.
Wow, Tony, you kind of.
I seriously got fucking left on red by this bitch. She's my friend's sister. What the fuck?
Yeah, she pretty much like owes you.
Yeah. She pretty much owes me. Damn it. Okay, well that's my list of people. I don't really know anyone else. Maybe we could get on like maybe we get like a mock guest on. What if we did that? What if we like found like
an impersonator?
Well, no, we're not gonna get like a Robert De Niro impersonator on. We're gonna like
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That's actually a great idea. Write that down, Jibby. Write it down. But what if we went on DeviantArt and found someone who's got like these epic cringed out fucking like DeviantArt stuff, like bad Sonic OC, but like popular bad Sonic OC, and we got them to come on. What do you think of that? I think that'd be something.
Yeah, it'd be something. You can say that.
I think it'd be. Well, listen, Jibby. We'll talk about this after the stream. I'm trying to think of anything else. I can't think of too much.
We'd have more to say, but yesterday's hickey up really kind of.
Yeah, that was a real bump. We got to see if this one's gonna take when I hit.
If this one doesn't take, you'll hear of a. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah, okay, we'll cut it. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another. Really, this is Guildies episode 5, but we'll call it episode 4.5 because the other one we did is.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. R.I.P. in peace, my friend. He's gone. He do
the hips and shit.
Yeah, he's gone to the great Joe Rogan in the sky. So.
Oh, the blessed land.
Yeah. No. So thank you for tuning in. Next week I have no idea what we're gonna do. Some of these might just end up being kind of winged, right? It just might be us getting in here and yeah, some of these might just be chicken wing. So you look forward to that. We might not have a topic. It might just be whatever we talk about. So if you like
On
it,
the agenda.
yeah, whatever's on the agenda. So I gotta go play PvP because the weekly's just reset. So I will see all you folks next time, and Jibby is gonna get on getting Mr. Matthew P. Cornelius Dabrowski on our podcast. You heard it here first, folks.
Bye-bye.